Yeah, I talk about introspection a lot on this show. I believe it's an extremely important skill. But another extremely important thing that I talk about a lot is friendship, because we can only go so far before reaching a plateau and need the assistance of others in order to go further. While I often emphasize introspection, it can fail and lead to problems, some of which include not realizing when you have a problem and not realizing when you're wasting time on something that's not a problem at all. This is what we saw in Applejack's day off. The Ponyville Day Spa kept itself so busy that when a problem arose, as they tend to do, they couldn't take the time to find and fix the root of the problem. With a cog in their system, they employed a temporary solution, as people tend to do. But what people don't always realize is that temporary solutions are supposed to be temporary. At the very least, using temporary solutions in a contemporary context will burn much more time and effort. It might even make things worse, especially in the long term. But when you're that busy, that extra effort just becomes part of the routine, and it gets progressively harder to see that there was an issue in the first place. I frequently find myself in a similar situation, partly because I don't always have the resources needed to fix problems. So, like Applejack, I end up finding ways to work around them until I can fix them. But then I might end up forgetting about the issue entirely. However, even when I don't forget, then between a tight schedule, lack of resources, and just going numb to the extra effort, it could be months before I get around to fixing a problem, even as it festers and up until something breaks down completely. That being said, it was interesting when this wasn't the problem that Applejack had. A common criticism I've been hearing on this episode's message, or even its story structure, is how Applejack was having the exact same problem as Lotus, making the message redundant and the episode repetitive. However, I don't believe this is fully accurate. Lotus's problem was rooted in working so hard to fix a problem that she couldn't find the root of it. Applejack's issue was rooted in working so hard to fix or avoid a problem that she didn't even realize when it wasn't necessary anymore. These problems are more akin to being two sides of the same coin. People are likely to hit Applejack's pitfall while having their mind focused solely on achieving the end result rather than bandaging the issue like Lotus was doing. While this mindset is great for achieving goals and demonstrates a great strength of character, it can have a tunnel vision side effect which blinds you to noticing when a problem has been solved. If anything, you'll just eventually exhaust yourself like this. A little while ago I said that both of these problems were two sides of the same coin. This means that although the problems are different, they are similar in nature, and as such can share similar causes, this being your level of complacency. It's just as Applejack said, you can't keep doing the same thing, expecting it to get better. I realize that the concept of working so hard that you become complacent is practically oxymoronic, but it happens all of the time. It's surprisingly easy to get stuck in a rut where you're fixing problems that are caused by patchwork solutions to the same problems, and then to waste time and exhaust yourself fighting obstacles that aren't even there anymore. This is why it's extremely important to take time to step back and examine yourself and the way you work to see if you can find any of these pitfalls in your modus operandi, or perhaps to simply try something new just to see if it works. However, I had also said even earlier in this video that introspection can only take you so far. This brings us to the third and overarching lesson that this episode provided us with: utilizing an outsider's perspective. I believe the best way to do this is to ask a friend for help with whatever task you may need help with. This will give them an opportunity to become intimate with your situation, because anyone can take a look at a situation from the outside. But receiving advice when they don't understand why you do things a certain way can lead to devastating gaps in understanding. Then, it's up to you to trust the people you've reached out to and work together to create a better system. The same applies to an inverse situation when you're helping a friend. It's important to take the time to reach out and offer assistance. Learn about what they do and why they do it a certain way. They may need your input to solve a problem that they didn't realize they had, like the Ponyville Day Spa, or to find a simpler method for their chores like Applejack. They may even be doing damage to themselves without realizing it. Failure to reach out in either situation can have greater implications as well. Applejack's work was taking up so much of her time that it was causing her to neglect her friendships, which, of course, carries the risk of the friendship weakening and fading away. Never forget that it's possible to work so hard that you forget what you're working for and lose what's truly important. However, Applejack was able to use her outsider's perspective to fix the Ponyville Day Spa. Not realizing that she was just as susceptible to similar pitfalls, it was up to Rarity to step in and help her take control of her own situation with her outsider's perspective. If you remember to take time to relax with your friends and reach out to them when those daily chores become overwhelming, then maybe we can do the same. And that's the moral of the story. If you have anything you would like to hear discussed or reviewed, you can drop your suggestions by following Brawny Buck on Tumblr or sending an email to bronydebates@gmail.com. Feel free to check out my Patreon to see how you can support my channel and what you'll get in return. This video was sponsored by Irish John's Short Films and Animations, as well as all of my other generous supporters. Have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from all of you soon.